Moon in Leo is an excellent time to talk about the effect of the cult of betrayal um, on daily lives. And I just ran into a short about Princess Diana, showing how she was the woman who was cheated on, and showing Camilla as kind of like the woman that Diana's husband would cheat on her with. Um, And then, of course, all the comments were like, yeah, Diana is so beautiful, da 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 da, and so on. But the thing is that aims to a deeper issue. When we talk about those Rosicrucian cults or Masonic cults and the covenant, basically the requirement is that there is a curse, okay? So what they invert is life energy. This is why they get at the fertility and the sexual energy, and this is why we see projects like mkultra. They rape and torture people so that they are more susceptible to mind control. It's not to develop extrasensory abilities, because those you can develop naturally, and children are natural psychics. So you just don't stop that at childhood, and then you get psychics. But the thing is that they put people through intense trauma so that they can control the psychic experience, thinking that they can use it for espionage and to basically invert the world, okay? So that to try to control life on Earth. And so even the astrological traditions that think that it's by an act of violence, or that fire is an act of violence rather than alchemy, that we control nature or put nature under our will, or bend nature to our will. My view of it is actually different. I don't think it's about having to turn nature, to bend the nature to my will, but when I use talisman, it's basically to bring in balance. Okay, so to bring it to restore, to be an active agent, and technology is an active agent, just like a tree is, just like, okay, and that we interact, okay, with one another. So essentially, whether you get it one way or the other way, you get to do both things, because the offerings that you offer are balancing for nature. So still the talismans work. But the thing is, and that's what I say, okay, the sky that punishes the land loses mandate of the heaven. This is the eclipses, beat Mao Zedong, or we the people, or elements in nature itself. But the thing is, I'm watching this short about Diana, and immediately what comes to mind is how those cults that basically take over the world, okay, as they try to take over the world, and be everywhere, the members have to curse themselves. Not just curse themselves that if they expose something of the cult, such and such would happen, but they have curses. So it would be to somebody's intimate lives. So let's say for Diana, okay, for the marriage, then the prince, king, I don't remember, okay, she was married to, then he would have to do that. He would have to cheat on his wife with another woman, and then to put both women in an embarrassing situation where, like, yes, of course, Camilla is older, and she has been very beautiful when she was young, but then it's a different type, okay, it's more to the inner beauty than the baby skin or stuff like that. When we grow old, it's natural. And that is not a typical, like surely we would find that with like a Uranus stuff or unusual type of cheating, or some, or if we look at the chart. But it's also, of course, that they base so that people cannot have a happy intimate life, happy marriage, good sexuality, because when they do, then they begin to balance out, and they are not in malefic control, which is nothing bad. Okay. But I was just thinking about how these courses affect, let's say, the royal family. Maybe you would look at Meghan and, for that story. And even I think about astrological lots and how that may be used as courses that may or may not be averted. Okay, may or may not, because we don't have exoccult astrology, or we don't have exoccult society, more to say, then even what we know about astrology can be put to question. Because the same things, okay, for the same transit, you could be experienced, people say, according to your karma or this remediation, and stuff like that. And that's not me taking away like bad stuff that can happen to people or fate or anything like that. But it's like, hey, if you're in cults and there is ancestral curse, or there is curse on your family, or there is curse for the intimate relationships, or all these things, so that you could be controlled, so that you all could be controlled, that is creating stories like what we saw with Diana, okay? And this also pertains to the marital life of people within and outside cults. I think there are things that signify in the chart for such things. Okay, combination of, let's say, like what I have. Okay, Pluto, Saturn, and Mars in the 9th house, and Mars ruling over the ruler of my 7th and 4th in the natal chart, can denote for partnership with people from abroad that may have linkage to actually my origin countries, that have to do with occult, politique, cults, and unfortunately Saturn is Satan, so satanic churches and stuff, and I have Diana asteroid next to my ascendant, so it doesn't. But Diana is also a deity. Diana is not just Princess Diana. Diana is a deity. She's I think she's a moon deity that protects women. But the thing is that for all these curses, okay, that are used to control humanity, are harming everybody in the cult. Because if you have to like execute these curses or do weird things with your energy, again, if people talk about reptilians, you can go K9, and that person would be, they would have their character, but they would be a fluffy, loving dog, okay, that knows how to protect you. But I think more than the question if there's reptilian or not reptilian, but the question is how these people are grown, and it is the torture in the upbringing, in the conception, and those curses that are more responsible to the behaviors that we see than whether they're breeded with aliens or reptilians or whatnot. Even those things that say, oh, they can't create, they can only invert stuff. I'm like, no, that's basically if you put a person through intense torture and you don't let them out, and whenever they try to heal their torture, everything's going to be inverted for them, okay? But when they get out and curate from that, then those inversions are inverted. And of course, people can be creative and so on, whether it's people, whether it's breeds of people and reptilians, or whether it's breeds of people and aliens, it's the same essence. Okay, it's just like, is it well treated or is it not well treated? Because if they're well treated, then they're gonna grow well. And it's also when they're teenagers, okay? When they're not well treated, then it's going to be continuously challenging for them to grow well. This is why we had diagnosis of narcissism and a bipolar or a borderline. Okay, borderline. It's an upbringing. It's a relational trauma. Okay, but then for the narcissistic type, they were favored because they tend to like create division and cult. Okay, that's why they were preferred by those who want to control for the world, and they were put in key positions. Okay, but even for those people, they like the soul is seeking to curate continuously, and so this is another example of not just the sciences, okay, but also for the royal family or natural relationships, that you can see how those things bring us to have bad relationships, and why this costume, okay, should be avoided. and should be abolished, okay? And also, this is what our economy is based on, because it's a betrayal-based economy. I think when Uranus is going to go to meet Sedna again, because it was meeting, no, Uranus was not meeting Sedna, Sedna was meeting Algol, but Uranus will be meeting Sedna in 2025, and in the sign of trade and child labor and so on. So Uranus meeting Beta Persei is how we get exposed to the siphoning of sexual energy and the sexpionage and those betrayals, and how that is used to control humanity and to make you believe that a woman that was continuously raped until she had to seduce a person so that only he will be the rapist, and to mitigate for the rape, then this woman is a whore or climbing up the ladder through the pants. Whereas and they create entire endeavor of human trafficking that you think is sex work. There is no sex work. To have sex work, sex positive sex work, which is I don't know, erotic dance or something like that. It's sexual expression, okay? You need to have sex positive. But if you have complete infiltration of the industries by these incest cults, then you don't have sex work. And Red Umbrella is Rosicrucian. So when women try to get out of human trafficking, they turn to Red Umbrella. They get inverted, just like I got inverted when I got to the again for the psychologist at Itamarion that was supposedly treating children and adults for, like, if they had a thing with identity, or if they had thing with like sexual boundary violation in childhood or something like that, or even suspicion, because people can forget. Then instead of therapy, I got mind control. So that's the same as Red Umbrella. Okay, I don't know if it's Polaris or all these things that are supposed to help people that escape human trafficking. And so those things, as well as when satanic ritual abuse survivors get, you want to listen to them on their podcasts. Because when you see the rosy symbols, okay, it doesn't mean that the testimonials are correct, but sometimes there would be covenants and curses on those after they come to testify. And I say that as something that happens at every juncture of healing and curation. And it's not necessarily the podcast presenter that is the problem, but there's just like, okay, you just want to decentralize that shit. So those things affect, of course, our economy, this inversion of economy. And you're basically invested in, if you're invested in laser technology, you're invested in your own demise. If you're invested in pharmaceuticals, majority of cases you're invested in your own demise, unfortunately, including the research for cancer, because the research for cancer is stopped, and we need to have complete revolution of this so that all the cures that do exist get to be said to the people, okay? And if you're invested in like psychiatric cure for psychosis or cure for a mental disease or schizophrenia, okay, you're invested in your own demise. It's housing first and believe in the patient. If you are, and those celebrities, some of them might get sugar pills, because you would get some cure. And or you would get something that you're told is something, but it's actually something that works, and you're not told that that's what it is. So, because you wouldn't be looking that skinny if you were actually on antipsychotics or antidepressants, no matter how hard you work with your body. Unless you have major eating disorders that you don't talk about till today. You wouldn't be looking that way on those pills. Let's just put it that way. So either you're not told what you're actually receiving, and there are countless ways to do that. Or you are receiving something that is effective, but it's not what they tell you that it is, just like with the cancer, okay? Because SSRIs and beta blockers, they're not, okay, they cause countless deaths. and if you're a celebrity, influencing that, so you want, okay, you want to keep in check. It's like you want to make sure what is the help that you are told that you are getting, because you might not be, and at the same pill they could hide something to poison you, okay, as well. Even if you go by the pharmacy or whatnot, or it's brought to your house or whatnot, that's just pay attention, okay, because you don't know what's in there. And there might be, for this, mind control is waves, so you might be regulated by waves and being told that that's by the pill. There's just so many things that can come about. Or you can be one of those rare cases where those pills would not affect the nervous system so much. But mostly, if you were on beta blockers, you wouldn't be able to move your body, you would not be able to dance, you would definitely not be able to sing. If you were on SSRIs, you would, okay, let's just put it that way, you would not be glowing. Very simply put. And if you're on mkultra, then that needed to be tended to, and is tended to. Is how the space is held for you to have right to exit and to curate and not lose your sense of safety in the body or whatnot. And in essence, to believe the patient for their testimonial, whether it's of violence, of violent upbringing, of those things, those are the curation. Of course, it affects nervous system, and all these things. And I'm not saying something like a Lorivan or something like that can't work for a while, but then they would have to increase the dosage, and there would have to be other things that happen that people are deprived of when they exit cults. So that's an important conversation, okay, to be had, because celebrities are used as influencers. Okay, also in academics, the reason I got funding for degrees, because they thought that they would use me for that, and I thought that that's a new version of healing. It's not actually healing, okay? It's energy that heals as well. So, yes, for more about these cults, I was mentioning LGBTQ community and how we genuinely need to accept for all feminine, masculine. This is the antidote for the cult. And yes, some people might technologically want to change for how they look. It's okay. Like, people have breast implants, why not? But the thing is that when it comes to fertility, people need to be informed. Fertility is also creativity, is also a connection to joy of living, is many things. And when that's been washed to do something else, like deplete yin, like world wars, like canceling sexual polarity for the sake of it, where later they would drop an A-bomb that actually increases sexual polarity within species. And that is kind of celebrated, and then the only way that an LGBTQ person gets acknowledged is through these cults. So this is something that needs to change for entire society to contain this complexity. And again, it's the upbringing that matters. And it's genuine care for people that matters when it comes to their housing, when it comes to their assets, and when people are invested in the inversion of that, then we get the laser stuff where you invest in real estate and that get lasered up on you. So yeah, thanks for watching.